Down the Road Show podcast, brought to you by Dark Knight Studios. My buddy Batt is the owner of Dark Knight Studios. He makes all of my graphics, all of my logos, and he just started his t-shirt business. So if you're looking to rebrand your podcast or your whatever it is you got going, hit him up at Dark Knight Studios, DARKNYTE studios.com, or on his Instagram or any of his social media to get his help getting all your merchandise going. Thank you very much, Brother Batt. We are recording live right now with the first cannabis room on Greenroom. This is a 24/7, pretty much radio station that started 2 weeks ago. It's the longest running room on Spotify's new Greenroom app. Thank you to the Cannabis Maker podcast. I love being in this space. This is sponsored by Sister Effie and Brother Jared at Lost Coast Wellness. They help keep this space going for all of us to meet on a regular basis. Welcome to Sunday Service, where we preach the holy healing plant, God's gift to Mother Earth. No judge, just all love at Cannabis Church. Thank you for giving me that intro pretty much there. Ingrid in Norway. This is a worldwide community here at the first cannabis room on Greenroom. So all are welcome. We are here to end the stigma of the devil's lettuce and connect to better wellness personally, socially, and for the planet. Whether you need connection to humanity or the universe, or the great creator of your choice. And all of my atheist brothers and sisters who have known me for decades know they're about to have a good time. Or if you just need good vibes and meditate with love and light, come on down. All preferred pronouns, or if you're still figuring that out, all are welcomed with green grace in this safe space. I'm your cannabis minister, Casey, and I haven't had my hit yet, so I'm tripping over my tongue already. So let's pray. Hello, universe. You know me well. This is Casey. I'm calling out to you on behalf of all these people listening in right now. These are some good people. You know them well. Please bless their sacrament today, that it may heal pain. It will help their better wellness, get them in the proper mental health space so that they can practice patience with themselves, so that they can go out and spread their love and light into the world. Thank you for this holy plant, cannabis. We love you, universe. Amen. Now, I'm going to be partaking in some of my favorite smokable sacrament today. It's time for you to partake in your favorite smokable or edible sacrament of your choice. Welcome to Cannabis Church. Damn, I actually needed that. It's amazing how much that just calms you immediately. Thank you to our music director, Durrell Johnson, for getting the plant love spirit vibe going in the room. And much love to our choir director, Corey, who runs this space with the boys over at the Maker podcast, the Cannabis Maker podcast. They do such a great job keeping the space open for us. And thank you, my brother Batt. I am just blessed to have you truly as a brother. Thank you to my bud tender, Tim, over at Verdes Foundation here in New Mexico for today's sacrament and patience and compassionate education advice to me as a medical needs patient for cannabis. And come on, let's just recognize here. Let's take 2 seconds. Let's just take 2 seconds here and recognize. We all just lived through a worldwide pandemic in 2020. Like, crazy. We've all been cooped up. Now we're getting out, seeing people for the first time. I'm not going to lie. I cried. Tim shook my hand and thanked me on my way. before I rolled out in my wheelchair, which is why my neck is killing me today because, like, rolling myself hurts like crazy. But the niece was sleeping in the car like a little angel, so we weren't about to wait. I had to go in by myself. But you know, I wasn't expecting that moment to be so emotional and to be so spiritual. I mean, cannabis has always been a spiritual place for me, but I shook another human's hand for the first time in like 2 years. How long's it been since you had a hug, huh? Some human contact, that connection. And that's why we're all here today, is for that connection to the cannabis plant that connects us to ourselves, connects us to the universe, connects us to humanity, connects us to the planet. So I just had a nice hit of some Eagle Scout. Why I chose that when I was at church, that'll come later here. But today, we celebrate Independence Day. Always makes me think of Bill Paxton and that great presidential speech of our time. I know it's just a movie, but Independence Day, uh, it's a great movie, and there's lots of great presidential speeches and lots of great real presidents that have given many inspiring speeches. And independence is a word with many personal meanings to every individual human, not just in the United States of America, but across the whole world. In the United States, it's 4th of July today. When the sun goes down, every state's going to be celebrating in their style with localized fireworks. These shows celebrate this country's birth and independence of declaration from England, which is why we make the Brits the bad guys in all of our Hollywood movies. That's just the way it is. But the Declaration of Independence was written on hemp paper. Hemp is cannabis, people. Come on. Our forefathers made the sail and came over here to steal this land, but that's another sermon. We have had 100 years of prohibition against cannabis and hemp. 100 years of treating it like it's a poison, when we have now lost 14,000 years of ancestral information about the plant and how it helped this planet. That prohibition has only poisoned this planet, poisoned us, and poisoned our society. Look at the war on drugs. Has its racist roots right here in the United States, but not just that, across the globe. Calling it marijuana has been used as a slang and a slur against the cannabis community and society. And it's an easy scapegoat to fill the money making machine of private prisms with our brothers and sisters. And that is a huge part of American history and issues still today, not yesterday, today. They still don't have independence the way my white privilege affords me. Took a long time to learn that. And that's not a political statement. That's a daily way of life for some of my favorite friends. However, Cannabis Church is about championing the independence of cannabis. I'll say that again. The independence of cannabis, not just for the United States, but for all humanity global wide. The first cannabis room on Greenroom has provided a safe space to have the uncomfortable conversations about our few petty differences, but all the wonderful things we have in common globally. We cultivate a culture of compassion by listening with patience to the personal testimony of one another and sharing our own testimony about cannabis, our connection to the holy plant. It's a holy plant. It heals. Its connection to our ancestors, its connection to Mother Earth, Gaia, our home. And for me personally, it helps me with my spiritual connection to the universe, my inner guardian angel, the God of my choosing, the God of your choosing. Cannabinoids are a road to wellness for all of us. And when I say all of us, I mean the animals too on this planet. Come on, the animals. I'm talking about the animals. We all have an endocannabinoid system that helps our health in ways we are just barely learning about all the time. However, our doctors and scientists are handcuffed by lies and propaganda, by prejudices against the holy plant cannabis. Until we end the oppression of all mankind with words like devil's lettuce, calling us stoners and potheads, when really we're ministers, doctors, lawyers, veterans that served this country, that are homeless, that represent a huge number of our homeless population across the United States of America. And we talk about, oh, we're going to help them. We're going to help them. Who's doing what, right? Everybody's just talking. Nobody's walking the walk. Yeah, I love good intentions. The path to good intentions leads to hell, right? Google how many times is in the Bible it says good deeds. It's a lot. That's literally the answer. You can do all your own looking on that, and this is not a place for Bible quotes where I'm going to tell you where to find it. That's not what this is about. But deeds. I see deeds going on behind the scenes and live in the first cannabis room on Greenroom. I see the deeds being performed now for these veterans. People doing things to help them now and make change now. They're not waiting for the system. Cannabis people cannot wait for the system. We've been denied by the system for 100 years. We are patients, mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers, non binary humans of all pronouns. That's who we are. We are nerds. And cannabis, well, that's our nerd thing. Like a great movie or TV show, any of our favorite books that you could just read over and over and over. You know, it's your go to book for all you book nerds. The stranded on an island question, we've all had that debate. Cannabis, yes, that's my first choice, of course. But, for the entertainment, to keep our minds active and our mental health good, what do we want with us on that stranded island? We've all had that debate. It's not a getting high debate or getting drunk debate. That's a debate. That's a philosophical debate for all time. But as far as entertainment goes, I go with Star Wars. See, I feel you, brother George. I feel you. I get the Force. I feel that. I feel that to my bones. Star Wars is a religious way of life for a whole community of my friends, and it's always been a great place to return to a safe space. Fall asleep to it. My favorite movies. I can quote the originals back and forth. It is kind of a religion to me. And when you embrace it, the philosophies of Star Wars, and look at it deeply, it's very spiritual. Like Star Trek. It's a wonderful view of how society could be. They were the first television to have a first interracial kiss, a nerdy show that couldn't get funded until Lucille Ball, that's right, a woman back in the day, was the only one with the balls to put money behind Star Trek. Yeah, we owe her. She was a legend, icon, and business mogul ahead of her time because, oh, like Sister Andrea says, got that I don't give a shit inside her, and I'm just going to get it done. That we all need inside of us. But back to Star Wars. Star Wars is personal to me. It's one of the last movies I remember seeing in the movie theater with my dad before he died from cancer. Empire Strikes Back came out right after he died of cancer. I didn't know we were going to get a Return of the Jedi. Trilogies weren't a huge thing. Y'all are spoiled now. So many trilogies, 10 years of Marvel. We didn't have that kind of stuff growing up as a kid. We were lucky to get the entertainment we got. We didn't have cell phones, entertainment, and we couldn't broadcast a live cannabis church through our phones across the globe to people in need. And that's what we are. We're people in need. People that deserve that inalienable right to pursue happiness and health for themselves and family. That's not just an American right, that's a right of all human beings. That's a human right. We all deserve the independence to make those choices for ourselves, for our person and our family needs. No survival right, right? We're all just trying to survive on this planet. But is surviving enough? Shouldn't we be striving as a planet, as a society, as individuals, as families? Striving? Lying to us and telling us, like, there's not enough resources on this planet? We all know that's a lie. The freedom and independence is a universal right. We are all born with that right. We had a wonderful session the other night with Jamie and Maggie. They pulled a couple cards for me. Jamie started off, I got the armadillo card. Yeah, of course I felt that. I have a tendency to show the soft underbelly of the armadillo to everyone I meet. Be there for everyone. Spread myself too thin. I'm disabled now. I wasn't 4 years ago. 5 years ago, I was a fully able-bodied person. I didn't even know what that meant. I didn't even know what that sentence meant. Didn't know it was a thing. I was on the handicap wagon, people use that word. And disabled. I don't know what disabled means. Old people are disabled. I see old people walking around, but I didn't really see old people or the disabled. Now I see it because I'm living it. And I got to be careful with my time. I'm in so much pain right now. But I'm here for this, for Cannabis Church, because this is important. So sometimes I got to remember to ball up like that armadillo and put up my boundaries, like Jamie talks about. Practice patience with myself, patience with my health. See, that's been hard. That's been a hard, hard lesson. And that's a lesson we all need with ourselves. How hard are we on ourselves? We're the first to criticize ourselves. Look at dysmorphia, the way people see themselves in the mirror. It's not their actual figure. I was 285 pounds. I get that. I was embarrassed. I was in Vegas with my boys celebrating a marriage. We were going skydiving. I was so excited to go skydiving. They were all kind of scared, and I'm like, hell yeah, we're going skydiving. I've been waiting to do this for years. Guess who couldn't go skydiving? Me. Too heavy. Too heavy. Here comes all the jokes about how big of a breakfast I had. But I was too heavy and over the weight limit to go tandem. Now, I asked all of them to sign a waiver to let me go tandem, but none of the skydive professionals wanted to take that risk, and I don't blame them. Guess who's still never been skydiving? But we got to be honest with ourselves and compassionate with ourselves. If we're not compassionate with ourselves, how are we going to love ourselves and grow? And until we love ourselves, we'll say we can't love others, and we can't, as a helper, we can't help others. And I see my friends spreading themselves too thin when they're the caretakers of their own children. I see my sister, my caretaker, spreading herself way too thin. It breaks my heart. We shouldn't have to do that on this planet. So yes, like the armadillo. And I remember the first time I ever saw one driving through Texas, man. Amazing little creatures. It's okay. It's okay to put people at arm's length every now and protect yourself, protect that energy, protect your soul. Yeah. Practice patience with yourself, like Jamie said. Preaching here, brother. Yeah, Jamie. Yes. And Maggie pulled me the Eagle card. Smoking some Eagle Scout today. I was a Boy Scout. Never wanted to make it to Eagle Scout for lots of reasons we can go into in other weeks. But I also have a funny sense of irony. and but the Eagle, yes, Maggie girl, love that session. These two are powerful intuitives. There's an empathic intuitive myself who's seen some shit. Let me tell you, I know gifts when I see it, and these two are gifted. So yes, if you want a card reading from them, you are blessed for that. The eagle flies high, higher than other birds. The only thing that flies higher than that is a dragon. The eagle is worshipped in societies older than America across the globe, and it's America's national bird. Don't know if you've ever seen one. There's a great there's a great spot in Utah, just one of my favorite back roads to take. And it goes through an eagle reserve. Giant nests all over in the trees. And, if you're lucky, you get to see them flying. It's a spiritual experience. I used to wake up at the top of the mountain when I was working at Snow Basin during the summer. We were helping putting in the snowmaking system and get ready for the Winter Olympics that were coming to Utah. Whew! I was best shape of my life. You should have seen the dirt rolling off of me when I'd go home to shower. It was insane. But seeing the eagles fly over me and the mooses coming up and communing with nature, yeah, I was smoking cannabis the entire time through work too. I was up there worshiping, worshiping everything this planet has given us. God gave us seed. Seed grows everything we need. Then they take those and turn those into medicines. You can't take a big pharma pill and go plant a row of Ritalin. It don't work that way. Or Prozac. Does not work that way. So that's what we're doing here in the first cannabis room on Greenroom, and what you're listening to on the Down the Road Show podcast. If you're catching this later on Spotify or wherever you prefer your podcasts, we're changing the way people see cannabis and talk about cannabis because it is a holy plant to us. I'm in and out of a wheelchair. There's days I can stand. There's days I cannot. There's days I use it to walk behind for balance because I need the balance. I was out of the holy plant for several weeks because of issues. But we ain't collecting tithing here, passing around no donation plate. That's not what I'm talking about. I just proudly finished and uploaded to my YouTube. You know, yes, I'm going to self promote. The cost of cannabis, history of hemp. Now, because of the title alone, I'm going to speak about it on any platform I can. You know why? Because I've already tried to pay to promote it. I can't pay to promote it. I can't do any kind of traditional marketing for the first documentary short film I've made in my entire life that made me cry when I got to the end. And how many business owners are going through that? They can't market their cannabis. Patients can't find cannabis because they can't search for cannabis because that's the way it is. It's looked down on. But yes, you're damn right. I'm proud. I put this up. Oh wow, 2 months later than my intended release date. because I had entire months I couldn't edit. My hands hurt too much to type, to scroll. Migraines were too bad to look at my computer screen. And there was a 2 week period I lost the left side of my body. Couldn't use my arm. Couldn't pick up coffee. Couldn't feed myself. Well, not with that side. I'm right handed anyway, but that side was so shaky, it was, I about stabbed myself in the eye while trying to eat eggs a few times. But that's how it is. That's my present. That's my reality. So I get to be proud of my hard work and get to talk about it in the first cannabis room on Greenroom with my family. Yeah, you heard me. Family. I don't take that word lightly. You ask my actual family. Yeah, you ask my actual family. So this week, people, this week, I have one simple question for my cannabis congregation. What led you down the road to your cannabis connection? I'll go first, like always. And then we're going to bring up some of my brothers and sisters and family to testify and give you their own testimonial of how they found cannabis, because that's why we're all here, to hear each other's stories, to connect, to end the stigma, lies, and propaganda that's been built for 100 years around cannabis, so that people can hear the truth. Because when they hear the truth, it's kind of hard to deny the truth. So, I'm a survivor. This is not a sad story. I'm a survivor, and survivors know that. I was molested by an older cousin when I was 13. It only happened once, but that's all it takes to give you the worst nightmares and anger management issues nobody deserves. Sleep was next to impossible until I found cannabis when I turned 18. It still took a number of years, and sometimes, yeah, I'd smoke an eighth a night just to go to sleep of that dirt weed. But you got to take what you got to get when you're living in the extremely illegal state of Utah in the early 1990s. And for the love of the great creator of your choice, the universe, oh my God, they just legalized it. Like, I didn't think Idaho was going to, but Utah legalized. Just quick round of applause for Utah. They were the last state in the union I thought was actually going to legalize it. So, like, yeah, I was surprised. But what did that do for me? Man, it gave me intimacy problems throughout my dating life. Sorry, all my exes. Now you know. It's not something you share. Still remember the first person I even told wasn't until I was 20. One of my best friends. I remember exactly how it went down. I remember every single person I've ever told and when, because it's not something people share. It's not something men share. Man up, right? Rub some dirt on it. Get over it. Get over it. Oh, I'm not an angry and violent person, but yeah, the rage, the uncontrollable rage, trying to go to sleep at night. Whew. But with the help of cannabis and self work and self love and self realization and really diving deep into it, and talking to other people and reading books and checking out stuff, more online these days. It wasn't available back then, but just doing the hard work, I could finally get to sleep without seeing that fucker's face before I went to sleep every night. And yes, you're going to hear some swearing in here, because you know what? I get pissed sometimes, like the veterans. If you're not fucking pissed about the veterans, I don't know what the hell your problem is. Then, in January 5th in 2001, I was on my way to court, driving 45 miles an hour, not another soul on the road, not wearing my seatbelt, to pay for a cannabis ticket, which was just a misdemeanor. And the only time I've ever been busted in all my time smoking. Like, I got away with some close calls, stories for another day. Some fun stories or for, after church. For those sticking around on the first cannabis room on Greenroom, because this is live for all of you. I am just so happy you guys are live here with me. Like, blessings, people. Love you. May the holy plant bless you all. But this guy pulls out, not paying attention on his way to work, and I T-bone him right in driver's side door and break the windshield with my face. So that is the start of a lot of my health issues now today. Bruised my tailbone, and it made driving and traveling long distances difficult since day one, and has been ever since. Had a concussion for about 7 months. Well, the doctor gave me B12, B5, and some other vitamins that help with brain swelling. And he also gave me Prozac. Now, I'd never had Prozac before. Now, I knew I'm ADHD. Anyone who knows me knows I'm ADHD, always was as a kid. I am the quintessential textbook definition of a child growing up in the 80s with ADHD. Non diagnosed, of course. Of course. Also had dyslexia. Well, I'm at my mom's and I can't be smoking at my mom's because, she's taking care of me after the accident. And so I'm taking this Prozac, and all of a sudden, man, I get the worst cotton mouth of my life. Man, that Prozac is no joke. Not a fan. But what it did to my brain was exactly what cannabis has always done for me. Now, I know the lazy, fall asleep, get the munchies definition of what people think cannabis smokers are. That's not me. Listen to me rambling and going now. It's my focus. Cannabis helps me focus. It calms down my brain. It gets me where I need to be so I can complete sentences, so I can stay focused, so I can clean the house, so I can go to work. If you've ever known me, I've probably been on cannabis since I was 18. Yes, mom, I was high in your church. That's the way it works. If I was your bartender or server for any of the restaurants I worked at over 20 years, I was high on cannabis because it helped me focus to give you the service you needed, and you guys tipped accordingly. I've told a story in here in the first cannabis room on Green Room about the worst service I ever gave a table. It was the one and only time I went in not high. It felt so bad. I told this one table, only one table, but they weren't the only ones that got that bad of service. But I told one table because theirs was the worst. I'm like, please just don't even tip me. Like I'm ashamed right now and embarrassed. Like this is horrible. Please come back again and let me. They came back and I gave them the amazing service. But yeah, did I ever go back to work on cannabis again? Hell no. I mean, on not cannabis. Hell no. Hell no. But anyway, 4 years ago, I stopped drinking. I could not have done that without cannabis. And I needed to stop. Oh man, I needed to stop drinking. Yes, besides quitting smoking cigarettes in 2004, that's one of the best health decisions I've made in my life. So, and I couldn't do it without cannabis. That's for sure. And why, when it comes to at the end of the night, when all of a sudden my designated driver, this is before Uber, before Lyft was ever a thing, we used to take turns being as friends and groups take turns being the designated driver, which means no drink, or if it's the person you trust them with one drink, maybe two, depending on, we're alcoholics. We don't make good decisions on alcohol. Come on. Every bad decision I've made in life has been on alcohol. Every fight I've been in my life has been because of alcohol. Every bar fight I've ever broken up, including a knife fight that I went to court for, was on alcohol. I ain't breaking up cannabis users. Come on. Everybody listening right now knows that, man. Come on, flash those mics. You know I'm right. So, yeah, stop drinking for my health. My health declined. Had to move in with my sister Tina in San Diego. Thank God she's a nurse. Actually understood what my body was going through. So compassionate, so sweet. Love her. Miss her. That's what today's service is about. Her. My sister Tina. 2 years ago today was the last time I saw her alive. Mm. Yeah, I knew she was drinking. Didn't know she was on the pills, but mental health these days. They just love to shove pills down everybody's throat, don't they? Mix up with a little alcohol. I just thought, she was a shitty drunk. Yeah, I said it. The night terrors she would get. Whoo! Cops called. Yeah, cops came one night. They thought she was being murdered. Reliving when she was raped as a kid. Every night, she was slowing down on the drinking. I got her eating some of my CBD brownies that I make at home. Some cannabis love. She was actually slowing down on the drinking. Because she was also not just drinking for the emotional and the mental pain, but the physical pain. She was in a lot of physical pain. She was overweight, working too hard at her job. The go-to anesthesiologist at a very popular plastic surgery place in San Diego, where anytime there was an emergency or the other nurses were having a hard time, they called her because she had no problem getting those tubes down the throat. No, always got the injections right. People wake up violent, swinging. Military vets coming out of surgery with because of their PTSD come out swinging violently, and she's got to hold them down. That's her job. Oh, I can't imagine that. That's why I'm so outspoken for free healthcare. I don't give a shit. Call me a socialist, Democrat, or whatever you want. Our first responders deserve the free healthcare and all the cannabis they can smoke for what they're doing when they're showing up when we're this country's calling 911. Our cops deserve it, the medics deserve it, the fire departments deserve it, the veterans deserve it. My sister deserved it. She shouldn't be dead right now. She should begin high with me listening to Cannabis Church, the first Cannabis Church. She should be here with me, watching her brother soar like an eagle. But she didn't have that freedom and that right. Right? 2 years ago today, she went to her room. She'd had a mental health relapse because of stuff going on. Don't want to talk about that right now, obviously. Hard enough. And for a few weeks, she'd been sneaking away some of the anesthesia medicine because you don't use it all. And it's different per patient. So we're just slipping in her little nurse pocket. And the place didn't know they weren't missing medicine. Things had gotten that bad where the pills and the alcohol weren't enough that she was doing what she knew as a professional and putting herself to sleep with a needle. Not heroin, not street drugs, a professional nurse, a professional medicine that my dumbass can't pronounce. Cannabis saved my life. I'm here today because all the times I was alone in the last 2 years since that. Damn right I've thought about committing suicide. Not for the mental pain because I miss my sister, because after days of being paralyzed from the neck down, where I couldn't text anyone for help, I couldn't call 911 for help if I wanted to save my own life. Have you been to the emergency room? I have. They didn't do shit for what I'm going through. They didn't do shit when I had COVID. They didn't do shit when I had COVID long haul syndrome. Thank God for that vaccine because Woo! That brain fog was no joke. Go watch my video podcast and you'll watch me struggling through every single one of those. And now I'm in too much pain to continue my video podcast. So here we are in a brand new format, doing it in an all brand new way because of the pain. Because I have no choice. I'm literally laying here in bed. I got to be the perfect angle. The perfect angle, not to put pressure on my spine, not to put pressure on my tailbone. Make sure my neck isn't doing all the work holding up my head because it gets extremely tired. Got to be patient with myself and my body, my jaw arthritis. Tomorrow I may not be able to chew food or swallow, but this is fucking worth it to be here with my family at Cannabis Church. The first, not the last, the first Cannabis Church, a global community coming together for the holy plant, God's gift to Mother Earth. And that cannabis plant helped me with my mental health when families spread across the country and they're celebrating holidays together because I can't travel. I can't even make it across town to my niece's house anymore, let alone stay there for longer than an hour. Family's over there right now. They just drove off to celebrate Independence Day together as a family as they deserve. And that's what everyone here listening deserves. Independence, freedom, freedom of choice for the holy plant cannabis to use it for their pain, for their mental health, their physical health, their spiritual health, and their emotional health. Yeah, I said that last on purpose. Their emotional health. Because that drives all of us as emotional beings. We all know this is a temporary life. We're just riding around to rock around the sun in this little skin suit. This skin suit that is so fragile, but yet at the same time is miraculously has all kinds of built-in mechanisms to heal itself that the cannabis plant, the only plant on the planet, supplies that also heals the earth, the air, and the water around it. We have dietary needs and issues now because of 100 years of cannabis prohibition. It used to be fed to our chickens and our livestock. It was everywhere. But because of the great money making machine of the paper industry and the gas industry and the steel industry and a bunch of racists that were upset that fucking Mexicans brought it up and decided, you know what, hey, you can smoke this and get in an even better mood, and brought it into all the jazz clubs. And oh no, white girls are dancing with people of color and having fun and giggling and laughing and finding freedom. Oh, hell no, we can't allow that. So now 100 years of prohibition, we don't have the freedom from our own pain. We don't have the freedom for our own health. Yeah, that's right, Ingrid. We don't judge, we just love. That's what the cannabis church is all about, love. Love of the plant, love of ourself. This is about ourself, society, the plant as a whole. This isn't about your bullshit laws. One love, preach one love. So, my cannabis congregation. Oh, I got some of my favorite family